Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, we'll deep dive into one of the most powerful and user-friendly data visualization tools available today. Yes, you guessed it right, Tableau. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to sharpen your skills, this tutorial will guide you through the essential steps to get started with Tableau and begin creating insightful insights. In the next few minutes, I'll take you through from the basics, starting from what Tableau is, how to set it up, and how to connect to data sources such as CVS files, Excel files, or even databases. Together, we'll also explore the Tableau interface, walk through creating your first visualization, and understand how to use dimensions and measures effectively. We'll also look at how to build interactive dashboards, customize your visualization, and look at so that they can look at their best. And I will show you how to share your work with others through the Tableau public interface. By the end of this tutorial, you have a solid understanding or foundation in Tableau and be ready to dive deeper into the world of data and analysis and visualization. If you are excited to learn how to turn your raw data into interactive, actionable insights, then let's get started. So, what is Tableau? Tableau, at its core, is a data visualization tool or software that transforms your raw data into meaningful insights. It uses a drag and drop functionality whereby you just drag your data on the rows and columns and it create meaningful insights in a short period of time. So Tableau is a very powerful software and also a platform. And I have here tableau.com. You can go on tableau.com, check out what is Tableau, its products, its solutions, resources, and partners, just to have a quick rounded overview of Tableau. And also for you who are learning, I would also encourage you to go to learning solutions, to resources rather, learn, and on if you go and learn Tableau, you can have self-paced learning, life instructor led learning, and also how to get certified. And also, you can also buy an e-learning platform where just like these ones, you've got a creator learning pathway and explorer pathway. And this is $120 per year. And this one is $60 per year. You can click right here and you can see the pricing here. This e-learning for creator is everything that you need. It will give you all the learning that you need. But I'll also recommend you to just check it out and see what you can get out of there. And also, there are other learning paths if you want to be an analyst, a data scientist, or a designer. And also the courses, Tableau Fundamentals, Tableau Intermediate, Tableau Advanced. My tutorial right now will be mainly a little bit of everything of Tableau Fundamentals and a little bit of Tableau Intermediate. But this is all you need for you to get started. So why do we learn Tableau? Tableau is a software platform that is in high demand. I think it is one of the most used platforms out there right now in data visualization or in business intelligence. So if you want to future-proof your career, I would say go to Tableau. All right, so next step, we're going to install Tableau and we're going to do a quick overview of Tableau, its interface and everything. Cheers, see you. All right, let's go ahead and install Tableau software to our computers. Now, there are two primary software that you can build your visualization on. One is Tableau Desktop and another one is Tableau Public. Basically, this is the same software, but one is just an enterprise version where you have to pay for it to access it, and another one is a public version where you can use it to build your own visualization. All right, so if you go on public.tableau.com, I will have this link on the description below. And under create, there is this download Tableau Desktop public version. I have already installed it, but if you haven't installed it, you can go and download the app. And this app is up. You can use it for both Mac and for Windows and for Linux. So let's go ahead and do that, and I will show you the installed version of Tableau. All right, so this is the installed version of Tableau. So right when you get a run or install your Tableau version or your Tableau public software, you have an option to connect to data to a file or to a Tableau server. Now, these are Microsoft Excel text file, JSON files, Access, PDF, and special files, statistical files. We call them flat files. So Tableau have got two options to connect data, one to flat files and another one to a server. Because this is the public version, we don't have all the servers that we can connect to. But this is where the magic of Tableau happens, because we can connect to almost any server that you might think of, be it a SQL server, be it AWS, or any commercial server that is out there, database that is out there. All right, so we are just going to go ahead and for this example, just to connect to an Excel file. So I'm going to my downloads and I'm just going to connect to one of my dataset called Global Superstore. All right, now that we have a global superstore data connected, we have three tables in the file, and I'm going to just use one of in this example orders, and I'll just drag it to right here to the right. Let me show it one more time. Just click, hold, and drag it to the right. So we call this the canvas. So this is the canvas, and right at the go, it tells you where we are connected to and the sheet that we are connected to or the table that we are connected to. And we have a chance to add filters here. So if you add a filter, let's say you just want to focus on a specific country. For example, you just want to focus on, let's say, South Africa and South Korea and South Sudan. Then, okay. So it will then only bring in data that is connected to those three countries that I've specified. And right now, so this is what we call a canvas. We can apply our filters here. So you can also go ahead and remove the filter. And now this is what we call a data grid. It will tell you the type of data that is connected in that file, the field names, the table it is coming from, and you can see right here, row ID is an integer, order ID is a string. We'll come to that later. But this is where we can see our data, and this is a sample data area. It tells you row by row the data that you have, and it will show you 24 rows of 51,290 rows. It actually shows you 100 rows, and you can specify the number of rows that you want to see. So it will now show 1,000 rows at one go. All right. While it's right here, you can also go ahead and drag another table or sheet, and you can relate it to the first one. So you can now, this Tableau is smart enough to understand that there's a field name called region in both tables. Then it connects the two based on region, but you can connect it multiple ways depending on how your fields are related. But for example, let's just connect orders, and I'll remove people from this connection. Then we go ahead and click sheet here, go to worksheet. And while it's right here, we see now we are into Tableau. This is where we put our visualizations. So you see a file menu. On the file, we have save as, we've got new, if you want to open a new file, you can paste the data. I'll show that later in the course, but you can just copy and paste the data into Tableau and build your visualization. And this one, since the Tableau public, you can connect it to your Tableau public and manage your profile once again. This worksheet menu is more useful when you're building a visualization. We'll be using it throughout the course. And this one, we use it to create dashboards and manipulate our dashboards. Same thing with the stories. And analysis, we also use it when we're building our visualization. We'll come to that. If you're dealing with maps, we need to come to this section of the file menu. And if you are formatting either the workbook or the dashboard or the story, any formatting that we need to do, we can do it right here. Now, Saver, we can use this one if you are in an enterprise version to publish our data source or to publish our workbook. And Saver, we use it to navigate from the sheet, to navigate around the sheets. And this is also a web help section. I always tell people, whatever software that you're learning, always go on the help and go on training. It will direct you to where you need to go in terms of learning, and you will have a ton of curated advice or how to do videos that you can consult. And whenever you're stuck, I always say go on help, and it will walk you step by step on whatever issue you are dealing with. So this is the interface, and these are just controls, whether we want to go back, go forward, we want to connect to a different data source, we want to save, we want to change the way our visualization is looking, we want to go into presentation mode. And also we come here, buy, if you want to buy a enterprise version, or show me when you are building visualization. We'll come to this when we are actually handling data. All right, to the left, we have two panes. We've got a data pane and an analytics pane. On the data pane, we have all the data, the rows and columns that we have in that Excel file that are connected. And you can see if I hover over here, is kind of a blue, and as you go just past this line, it's a green line. So these are what we call dimensions on top of above this line, and these are what we call measures. Dimensions are basically qualitative in nature, the things that we use to describe our data. For example, we use the category to describe our data, and we use measures to count our data. All right, so I also want you to notice that there are symbols on each and every dimension that we see here. And if you see category is ABC, ABC basically means it's a string. And if you just right click here and go on describe, it will actually tell you more about what this category is. So this is a discrete dimension. It's column width 15. Then just give you details of this dimension. All right, and let's go again to city. City, there's a globe icon. It means that it's a geographical field. It's used to map geographical data. Then this order date, there's a calendar behind it. It shows that's just a date field, which is used to measure time. Then we have this number, which call it an integer. It just shows you that's just a number. And same thing with this one, just a number, and also a globe icon, latitude and longitude. We're going to use this later into the course. That's a basic overview of Tableau, and you have seen right here, I've already created my first visualization, and I will just maybe go on label, show mark labels, and I'm using some of cells, so I'm just going to go to cells, and I'm going to default properties and number format, and I'm going to make it a current at zero decimal places, and boom, you see a dollar sign that has been added on my number. So basically, that's how you build your visualizations, but we're going to go more into detail as we go further. See you on the next side of this tutorial. All right, let's go ahead and connect to data. So if you open a Tableau Desktop or Tableau Public, there's this connect to data. So connect to your data, you can either connect to a file or to a server. In our case, we want to connect to a flat file, which is an Excel file. But before we do that, let me show you another way to connect to data. So if you go right here on the file menu, there's this data option. There's a new data option. There's a paste option. Now, let's say, let me first show you how to connect to paste data. Let's say I have an Excel file, like this one is opening. I'm just gonna show you simple data. So I want to show Monday through Wednesday, and I'm going to have basic random numbers here. All right, so this is my data set. It shows me number of something per day. So I'm just gonna copy it. And when I move it to Tableau, there's this option. When I go to data, I can paste the data in, and it will take a few seconds to think about it. And now I have that data in Tableau. So you can paste your data into Tableau. Let's say you want to do a quick analysis and you want to do a quick visualization, then you can quickly do that and start to build a visualization based on that. But just wanted to show you that. So another option is to go on data, new data source, then you can get the menu once more to either to connect to a flat file or to a server or a server-based file. So we want to connect to our we want to connect to an Excel file. So I'm going to click Excel, then I'll scroll down to wherever this Excel file is in Windows. Then I have an option to pick the table or the sheets on that Excel file. Let's say I want to work on the orders table. drag it to the canvas. And as I showed you before, you can relate it with other tables or other sheets in the file. But in our example, we just want to drag it as it is. And I also showed you that you can apply filters. In our case, we don't want to apply these filters for now. But again, this is our data grid. We can see what the rows, the column that we have, and actually the rows and page column that we have. So if you click right here on sheet, you can now begin to build your visualization. So you can see that there's this square with the plus sign. That's your sheet. There's this four squares with the plus sign. That's your dashboard. And there's this kind of a book with a plus sign. That's your story. So for you to have a dashboard, you have to have sheets. So a dashboard is composed of sheet. And for stories, you can add dashboards and sheets in a story to create a story. We'll come to that later, but I just wanted you to show to see that while it's right here. All right. So we have two data sources connected, and you can actually close one. Click OK, and it's taken out of the view. So let's go. So we are on sheet number 2, and we're gonna build a visualization. But now, before you even begin to build a visualization, you might want to think through your data and see if you have anything that you need, everything that you need to build your visualization. Now, this is a process, it's kind of a circular in nature, whereby you go ahead, build your visualization, and maybe you see that you need another set of data, then you go ahead, back again, and create it, and it's kind of a circular. You can go back and forth in creating a visualization, cleaning your data, or setting up your data in a way that you want it to, depending on how you want it to be visualized. All right, so right now, let's get started and extend our data visualization. Now, to do that, we have what we call calculated fields. Calculated fields. Calculated fields are kind of an extension of data of a data source. They kind of add additional fields to a data source. So let's go ahead and create our calculated fields. So let's say, just for you to have a visual, let's say we have our subcategories and we have profit. Even before we get here, you can see right now that our profit is kind of a number, and we will know is that profit is a dollar amount. So you can come right here, right click under profit, and on default properties, you can change or format your data. So let's say number format, you want it to be a current standard or current custom, currency custom. I want to be current custom, and I want to remove all the decimal places. And also, I just want to do include or exclude thousand separators. Click OK. Now I can see it as a dollar amount. Same thing with discount. We know discount is a dollar amount. So let's say I want to do it for discount and sales and shipping cost. I can highlight them together, and on default properties and number format, I can just change them with just one click. All right, so now if I just drag sales, it's now a dollar. Let me just put it back here. It's now a dollar amount. Same thing with shipping cost, is now a dollar amount. All right, so that's a quick trick for you to manipulate your data to make sure that you click the number of fields or the number of fields and apply a custom formatting across those fields. All right, so I wanted to also notice that when I right click here, there are many options here. You can add to the sheet, you can show filter. If I show filter, it shows right here, and also on the right side here, there's a slider, so you can toggle back and forth. And also another option is to rename it. Let's say I want to rename it. Let's say I want to say profits, whatever name that I want to rename it with. There's also another option to create calculated field groups, bins, and parameters. Convert to discrete, convert to dimension, change data type, default properties, geographical row, group by. Now, replace references and describe. Now, let me show you a quick on describe. So it gives you basically a metadata, or data about profits, and we know it's continuous measure. It's a column. It comes from this orders table, and some basic is based on it's being aggregated to a sum. Just basic information about that column. All right, I'm going to take away everything here and be left with subcategory and profit. Now you can see that we have this profit right here, tables, that is a negative. And we want to create a calculated field. Now, calculated field, we can create a calculated on many items, but I'm going to show you one of the ways to create a calculated fields. So first of all, you can create a calculated field by going straight to the field that you want. Let's say profit, right click on this drop down, there's this create calculated field. So it automatically populates profit since we initiated the calculation of calculated fields on profit. Not profitable. All right. So if some profits is greater than or equal to 0, then I want to say it's profitable. Else, not profitable. Or if statements end up with an and, the calculation is valid, and I want to apply it, and then it creates a field right here. So if I drag it right here, you can see that that one which was negative is now labeled as not profitable, although that are positive are graded as profitable. So calculated fields, they add more clarity to our data, and we can customize our data with calculated fields. So I showed you that you can right click, you can go on the drop down, create calculated fields. Or you can right click again, create calculated field. Or you can go on this drop down, create calculated field. Or the last one is to go on analysis. Actually, you can go on, analysis. There's an option to create a calculated field right here. So there's tons of ways to create a calculated field. So one is to go on the drop down, right click to go on this drop down here, and also to go on analysis. Let's say, I also want you to notice that when you create a calculated field, there is an equal sign and ABC sign and behind it. There's an equal sign given to it. It's just a symbol to show you that this is a calculated field. And you can come here, let's say you want to edit your calculated field. You can come here and filter by calculation. It will show you all the calculations that you have. Then you can edit your calculated field. Let's say you don't want to do that. You can go on analysis, edit calculated field. It will show you all the calculated field that you have. Right now we have one, so you can just go ahead and click the calculated field. So that's calculated fields for you. They will help you to visualize your data. So let's say, for example, I want to drag this one out of the view and put it on color. And I want to put subcategories on column and this one on rows. So you can begin to see that with simple manipulation, I can be able to create a stunning visualization, and also use that calculated fields to color my analysis. And still, again, I can say edit my calculated field, and I want you to see that it can easily change. Let's say 20,000 here, and apply. Then it will apply them accordingly. Let's say I want to do 50,000. So calculated fields are very powerful. You can change your analysis, your visualization by just creating a simple calculated field. Since we are here, we have used a calculated field to color. You can also go ahead and edit colors right here. And maybe not profitable, you want to put them on red. Profitable, you want to put them on green. Apply, and go ahead, boom. Within a few clicks, you are able to create a stunning visualization. And still, on the max card, you can play around and change the sizing of these bar charts. You can also manipulate the labels. You can either toggle back and forth to show or not to show. You can show min and max. You can play around with alignment. Not gonna do everything here, but there's also this option for tooltip. So if you see, let's say I hover over, let me put up again, or if I hover over right here on this one, I have this box to the right, the rectangle, subcategory, tables, profits, 64,000. It's not profitable. Now you can go click right here and you see that, and can begin to manipulate this the way this rectangle to the right is shown. For example, let's say I just want to say add results and bold it and underline it. So you can now, you see the results to the right now. You can now begin to format your tooltip so that it can enhance more user experience by giving further details or further information in this tooltip. Now that's that for calculated fields. Let's go ahead and show groups. Right. The beauty about Tableau is that there are multiple ways of doing the same thing. So let's say I have stats right here. And when I have states right here and I want to group them differently, so there are multiple ways I can come on the view and highlight the states that I want. Let's say I just want to group all these states, then I'll right click it and group. And I can rename them, I can ungroup them, I can edit an alias, just renaming it. I can ungroup them back to where it was. So you can create a group by going on the view and creating a group. So I'll just say group, then I'll just say group one. Let me edit alias and say group one. Then I can also go ahead. So group one, now Tableau by default arrange these ones by alphabetical order. So group is somewhere right here. Group one is right here, but you can still drag it and place it wherever you want. All right. So let's say I want to also group other states. So again, in the view, you can group then this icon paperclip group members again. So edit alias and say group two. So you can create a group in the view, or let's say go on the state field, right click, create a group. Go on the drop down, then create group, or right click, create group. And you can also group using calculated fields. I showed you how to group that. And also, yeah, those are the options for you to create a group. So let's say I just want to create a better group than these ones. Let's say I'm primarily focused by in United States. So you can search right here, United States, or you can scroll down, apply. So all these states are now United States, and I want to create a group. So I will say create a group. You can rename it right here, edit alias, A states, or you can, once you create it, you can come here on the data pane and create it. So that's how you create a group, and groups are very powerful when manipulating data, because sometimes some of the states, like let's say for example, I don't have a group right here. Now I'm back. I kind of went back again 2 steps, and now I'm back. I don't have any group. And let's say I just want to drag cells on the view right here. And let's say, and also maybe sort them out from descending order from the highest to the lowest. Let's say I want to group anything that is below 10,000. And that's basically, I'm right holding control and right clicking. Then on the paper click, I want to group. Let's say I want to just name them low performing states. All right, so now I can now begin to create my view, maybe a bar chart, and that low performing states will be there. Maybe I want to do it like this. Maybe that low, if you want to see that low performing states, then you can see it like this. There are many ways that which you can use groups in um, in Tableau. All right, let's go to the next part of the lecture. Welcome back to this other section of the course. Right now, we are talking about sets and hierarchies. I'm going to start with the hierarchies. We use the hierarchies to sum up data into a major or higher level dimension or a lower level dimension, depending on the view. So to have a visualization, to have a visual about it, let's say I drag order date to the rows here, and there's this arrow that's here. If I click it, it's gonna kind of drill down to quarter level, and if I click it again, it drill down to month level, to day level. So this is basically a hierarchy. We can create it on our own, or it can come depending on how your data is structured. It can come as prepared from your data. But let's go ahead and create our first hierarchy. So there are multiple ways of creating a hierarchy. For example, let's say I want to create a hierarchy. I can right click, and all the way down here, there's an option to create a hierarchy. Then you can name it the hierarchy that you want. So this I haven't I have created the name of a hierarchy, but I haven't really done anything. For example, if I drag it to here, there's not that plus icon. So it means I have to add some other dimension to this hierarchy. So if I come right here on the region, right click it, on hierarchy, I can remove from hierarchy. But let's say I want to add state to that region, I can go on state and all the way down, add to hierarchy, add to region hierarchy. So now when I drag it to the rows, I have that option. And now my users can drill down from region to state. Or maybe I might say, let me see, yeah, I have country. I can add this one to the region hierarchy. So right now, I can also change the order of this hierarchy. I would want region, country, and state. So you can click on country and move it over so that it can be on top of state. So now when I drag it to the view, I can see region now, then I move to country, then from country, I can move to the states in those countries. So that's a basic way to create a hierarchy. And another way to create a hierarchy is just to go, let's say I want to create a hierarchy of subcategory and category. I can just go left click and drag it under category and drop it there. Create a hierarchy, then I can rename it or I can keep it as it is, then I can use it in my view. Whatever I want to show in my view. So that's a hierarchy, so your user will be able to drill down if they want to see further down what is in this category. All right, there's a video that I did on Tableau tricks and tips. There is also various ways to create hierarchies, and you can use them in various ways in your views. You can check that one if you want to. All right, so let's do sets. Sets and groups are almost the same. There are two types of sets. There's a fixed sets and dynamic set. Fixed set is once you add members to the set, you have to manually change those members into the set, otherwise it will remain as it is. So if there's any change in the underlying data, those members in the set will remain the same. For example, let's say you have sales data that is coming in and you've created a set of specific subcategories. They will not change no matter how much variations of sales. But if you have a dynamic set, let's say you've increased sales, those members will be added in and out of those sets depending on the changes of the underlying data. All right, let's create a fixed set first. So I have here subcategory, and I'll drag it to the view. Or I can also right click here and create a set. So there's these two, if you notice, there's these two kind of circles that join together like a Venn diagram. Then you can now select your members into the set. Then you can rename your set, subcategory set, whatever you want to. Then it will add as a dimension. And now if I have, let's say, profit here and you have a budget, then I can take my subcategory set and put it on color. And now it will show me members that are in the set and out of the set. If you can see on my tooltip here, I have this out, copiers is out of the set, and then profit is 258. So this is a fixed set, but if you notice, there was another option. If I go right here and edit set, there's another option to do like a dynamic one. Let's say I want to create a top 10, let's say top 5 subcategories by sum of profit, top 5 by sum of profit. Can be any measure that you want, or you can also change by average, by count, whatever you want to do. Let's say by sum of profit. Yeah, let me do top 3, apply. Then I can take my set and drop it right here. So I have these fonts, drop it right here. So those are the top 3. And I can also take it and put it right here so that you can see which one is in or out. And you can visualize your view the multiple ways using these sets, but that's basically how you create a set. So you can right click, or you can come on the view, and then you can then use it to manipulate the way you want. So since we're here, there's also another thing called a parameter. A parameter is basically a variable. Those who have done a little bit of programming know what a variable is, but it's something that doesn't hold any value. So you have to add, you have to use a parameter in a certain way. So there are multiple ways to create a parameter also, and there are also multiple use cases of a parameter. Let's deep dive and see what a parameter does. All right, so let's create our first parameter. A parameter, as I said, is a variable. So I usually create this parameter. So I come right here, create a parameter, or go on analysis, and there is an option for parameters. It's grayed out here, but let's do it this way. Create a parameter. All right, you can select any data type that you want. I want it to be a string, and I want to be a list. So calendar year, then fiscal year. So I want to create a parameter that toggle between calendar year and fiscal year. All right, so I'm going to click OK. So step number 1 is to create a parameter. There are 4 steps. Second step is to show a parameter. Third step is to use the parameter either in a calculated field or in a view. In some way, you have to use it. So I want to create a calculated view field, which I'll call date control. Then I'll use a case statement, case my parameter, calendar or fiscal year. When now I specified when calendar year, then I wanted to use order date. When fiscal year, then I'm gonna make a for calculated field here, date, add month, 6, and order date. Then you have to finish it by an end. So what I'm basically doing is I have 2 options, a fiscal year and a calendar year. And now I want my users to be able to toggle between the two so that they can choose either a fiscal year here or a calendar year here. So I do apply OK. So this is my date control. Right now it's showing calendar year. Then when I show fiscal year, it's going to add 6 months to whatever date this is. So let's say I have sales and I have a bar chart like this one. Yeah, this looks good. And now my users are able to toggle between fiscal year and calendar year, fiscal year and calendar year. So I have used a variable called a parameter to be able to change these 2 options. That's a parameter. There are multiple use cases. Actually, when you are talking about sets, parameters, calculated fields, groups, and hierarchies, That is where Tableau shines because they add interactivity and more functionality to your dashboards. So at the end of this course, we are going to build a project that combines all these skills into one, and you'll be able to display that in your profile. All right, let's see you on the other side of this course. All right, in this section of the course, we are going to discuss common charts that you can build in Tableau. All right, so we're gonna do bar charts, line charts, text tables, highlight tables, maps, scatter plot, box plot, pie chart, draw chart, and dual axis charts. So this, remember, Tableau is a data visualization tool. So this is where Tableau shines. You can actually create a quick visualization with just few clicks. If you compare it to Python or R, Tableau, this is where Tableau shines. All right. So these are the charts that we are going to do: bar charts, line chart, all the way to dual axis chart. If you want to add text like this, you just go right click and caption, toggle it off and on. So this is off. If you want to see it again, you toggle back on. All right, let's get started with a bar chart. Right, a bar chart. Actually, I needed to put it right here. Bar chart. Now, there are multiple ways of creating a bar chart. Let's say I want to create a bar chart category and cells. So I hit category, control, then cells. Then I can come right here and click this bar chart for horizontal bars, for stacked bars. So we need a horizontal bar. So I click this one, it will give me a bar chart, and I can then just toggle back and forth like this is for swapping rows and columns. And I can go ahead and add text to my bar charts. So that's one way of doing it. Another way is to just take a dimension to columns, your measure to rows, then you get your bar charts. So in Tableau, there are multiple ways of killing a cat, of doing the same thing. So be familiar with all these multiple ways of doing the same thing. It will help you when you are building your visualization. So that was bar chart for you. Let's do another one called line chart. For a line chart, we only need a depth field. So we need a depth field. Now, if you don't know what you need when you're building a visualization, you come right here. Let's say you want to do a line chart. It will tell you that we need one depth and one or more measures. All right, so this is, we need a depth here. Order date, I put it right here on columns, then one or more measures, I took these cells, then I click right here, it's converted to a line chart. Now, I want you to notice one thing, that this is blue, and when I click line chart, it is converted to a continuous depth field. Right here, if I can move it back again, right, it's blue with the dimension, and you can see it's a discrete depth field. But if I convert it to a line chart, it's green, and now it's now a continuous. So for a line chart, we need a continuous depth field. And since we're here, we also spoke about hierarchies, and I want you to notice that if I drill down here, I can show quarter, I can show month, I can show week, I can show day. So depending on the level of detail of your depth field, you can drill down into, like this one's a weekly view. You can do a monthly view, you can do a quarterly view or a year view. So that's a line chart for you. And we can also, this was line chart for cells. I will just show you that it's possible to do two line charts. And now you can see that these are two axes that are different. This one for sales, this one's for profit. If you come on the second view, on the drop down, there's an option to do a dual axis. Now you can see we have two axes, one right here, which is from 0 to 500, another one from 0 to 50. So all you need now is to synchronize this axis so that they can be on the same scale, 0 to 500, 0 to 500. So that's dual axis for you. And let's move on to the next chart, which is a text table. Now, text tables are very beautiful and very powerful because they allow you to see or to highlight the data that you want. So let's say I have segment, subcategory, and actually let me do measure names on columns. Let me do measure values on text, something like this. And if I hit here, I have my text table. This is my text table, and we can now see breakdown by consumer, by subcategory, and we can actually take out the count of orders. We might not need it depending on the use case. Now that's your wonderful text table, and you can color it by a measure or a dimension or whatever you want. You can customize this one to your test. So that's a basic text table. And let's move on to a map. Now, maps are very also powerful in Tableau, and you can do your maps in very simple clicks. So there are two types of maps. One is the symbol map and a field map. So some call it choropleth, but let's do stat, double clicking stat, and cells, double clicking cells. I have these symbol maps. So the each every state is got a symbol, and that symbol is a relative to the size of the cells. So California has got 457,000 cells, while it's a state like Kentucky, you've got 36,000 cells. Now, you can also then also maybe color by cells if you want to be have more visual cues to your users. All right. But this is not that visible, so I would prefer a filled in map like this one. So you can still take your cells and put them on labels, and now you can have a visual cue that California and New York, and Texas, they have higher cells compared to other lighter shades of blue. So those are the two types of maps. And still again in maps, you can still do dual axis. So I'm hitting control, clicking left click on left, double dragging to the right. I have two maps here, and I can then come to on the second peel, then do maybe something like switch state to region. Now this one will be showing region, this one is showing map, and I can do dual axis. And there are multiple ways to do this, and you can show a lot of data. There's actually a video, if you check on my timeline, that shows you a dual axis map and how to toggle between zip code and a city view using one map like this one. All right, let's move on to a scatter plot. Now, for a scatter plot, we need two things, which is two measures. So sales and profit. Now they give you one item here because by default Tableau aggregates to sum. So we want to disaggregate these measures. So you go on analysis, you hit aggregate, then it will break down the sales and profit for each and every item. And you can now then maybe you want to color by quantity, category, you want to do whatever formatting that you want to do to add additional visual cues for your users. So that's basically how you create a scatter plot with only three clicks. Two measures, so profit, double click sales, and analysis, disaggregate, you have your scatter plot. So another common view that you might need to do is called a pie chart. Now, for pie chart, we need a dimension. We need a dimension. So this is a pie chart right here. One or more dimension or one or two measures. So let's say I will do segment and cells. Then I'll just hit this one. And I want you to see what happens to segment. Now, when I hit pie chart, segment is pushed to color here. Now, pie charts are one of the charts in Tableau that you can build without having anything on columns or rows. And you can then go ahead and put your labels. Now, since we're here, let's go ahead and do what we call a donut chart. A donut chart is just another way of presenting data in a pie chart. I always advise people when you're doing a pie chart, always do up to a maximum of 5 dimensions. Five categorical fields, you put three here. The more you have your dimensions, it really doesn't give any visual cue because you have to go find out which one is this, which one is this, which one is this. By best practice, up to five categorical values on either donut chart or a pie chart. Now, let's do a donut chart. For a donut chart, it's kind of an intermediate visualization. You double click your rows here and just enter 0. Tableau will automatically sum it, and you can change here to pi. You get this beautiful circle, and you can make it an entire view and also change the size of it. All right, now after you do this, you hit your control, then again left click sum, drag it to the right, let it go. Then on the second peel, you go on sizing, you kind of take it, make it a little bit smaller and change the color of it. And again, make it a dual axis. And boom, we have our donut. And now to make it more appealing, you go on the first peel, you take your either segment, you put it on color, then you take whatever measure that you want, which is cells in this case, put it on angle. You kind of see that now these angles are now relative to cells, and you can now toggle and put on your values. And if you want to, you can then go on the second peel, take your cells and put them on the label. And if you really want to also, you can go on the label and just say total sales, just to make it easy for your users to consume this. So and also we are doing segments. So I'll take segment again and put it on label. I can put it back again and go on this. Yeah, we're doing segment, and I can just come here and take segment to label. All right, there you go. And again, I can take cells to label. Then you can have a better visualization. All right, so we discussed that. Let's quickly do a box plot. It's also another intermediate kind of visualization. For a box plot, we just need one measure. So you take it and drop it like on rows. It is summed up into 100K. You go again on analysis, disaggregate it, you get these beautiful points. We are kind of breaking quantities like on individual level. And now you go on analytics, you go on either you can go on box plot right here, or you can add a line. You can add a reference line on table. Then there's this interface that comes out. You go on box plot, then you can do your whiskers. You can see your whiskers are just coming up now, and you can whatever coloring that you want, and then you can maybe change your sizing if you want. So that's your box plot. I have a video that explains what a box plot does and what are these whiskers and what is the upper whisker, lower hinge, median, and upper hinge, and what this all means. But you can do that, and also you can go back on data, just add maybe one dimension. Let's say I want to go with subcategory. Then you can have a box plot for each and every subcategory. So that's a box plot for you. And since also we are here, I've shown you this analytics tab. Let me go back right here and just do something like this. Right. So I have segment and all these measures. I can go on analytics tab and take these totals, drag it on column grand totals. It will add columns at the bottom of those rows, and I can take it off again. Totals, I can add it to the right, so it gives me totals per each and every table across. So this was totals table down, totals table across. If we have another dimension like subcategory, and you do analytics, totals, subtotals, it will add each total per each and every dimension that you have. So we have totals and then grand totals of totals. All right. That's that. Let me see if I can. Okay. Let also on a bar chart we can add an average line across the table. I'm not going to explain in detail what across the table. Okay, across the table it gives you entire sheet, furniture, office supplies, and technology. If I take it out and I say average line per pen, it will do average line per each and every. This is the same here, but you can see it gives you average of 4.2. But if I take it off and do another average line per cell, it will give you per each and every category that you have. And there's you can also build clusters in Tableau. Very few clicks that you can do clusters, and you can add constant line. Let's say you want to add a line of whatever value that you want. Let me just do 500,000. All right, 500,000. Then you have a constant line here. Uh, you can also do reference line, reference bands. Now, I won't cover this one in this tutorial, but you can do distribution bands per pen, per table, per cell. Again, it will enhance your analysis. Let's move on to the next section of the tutorial, which is filtering. All right, welcome to this section of the tutorial where we talk about filters. Now, we cannot really talk about filters without bringing in the Tableau's order of operations. Now, this is how Tableau executes your queries. Whenever you change your filter, basically you're querying your data source. All right, so by default, when you connect to your data source, you have a live connection. Right now, I'm connected to Global Superstore. And whenever you connect to a data source, you have a live connection. And live connections, there are use cases where we use live connections, but in some cases you don't need because it's very slow. Any change in the data source will always impact your workbook, so it's kind of slow, though it has got its own merits. So you want to extract your data. So extract filter is you are filtering your data to that particular point in time. So you can now schedule refreshes so that your data can be updated as you go. But this also brings now after an extract filter, there's what we call data source filter. So right now, I'm connected to the orders table from the Global Superstore data source. And if I go to the top right here, there is filters. I've already added one, so I can now take it off, remove. So add, add. So right here, I can add, so let's say I want to take out Canada and Africa and EU, then I'll exclude them, apply. Then, okay, one filter added, and I can add as many filters as I want. Let's say I want to take out specific product IDs. Excuse me. I want to exclude this one. Then it will say two filters added. All right. So in our example, we just need one. All right. So now I've applied a data source filter. Let's go ahead and explain what we call a dimension filter. Now we are going down extract filters, data source filters, context filters. Before I explain context filter, let me explain a quick dimension filter. All right. So I have category and cells, and I'll just say show filter. Now, remember what dimensions are qualitative data that we use to splice data or to split data. So I can now use this dimension to filter the view that I have. All right. So suppose now I want to, let's say, now we're talking about context filters. I have all of these subcategories. I want to show this filter, and I have product name. I want to put it on rows, add all members, and I want to do profit. All right, and I want to switch. Let me do sales. Yeah, better. All right, so I'm showing um, product name by sales, each and every sales page and every product. Now, to explain further, what I want to do is I can go on. All right, I had created a calculation called numbers, which is just showing the index position. All right, so all my product names, they are numbered right here, and they are 3,786. And if I do this, yeah, perfect. I wanted to, yeah, perfect. All right, so I've ordered my numbers. Now, to understand context filters is, if I want to filter product name, let's say top 5, top 10 product name. Actually, I can do sales by sum of sales, right? Top 10 product names by sum of sales. So I have 10 products by sum of sales across all subcategories. So let's check this one out. If I do take out tables, it's working properly. It's working properly. It's giving me now. Let me repeat it so that you can see one more time. Right. I'm showing top 10 and I'm taking off tables. It's still showing top 10, top 10, top 10. But when I toggle off phones, it's now showing top 5. Why? Because Tableau is applying this filter before the subcategory filter. All we need to do is to change this subcategory filter to connect so that this filter is applied first, then we apply this one. So whatever subcategories we have here, it will always show top 10. So right now, even if we show one subcategory, it will still show top 10 filters in these subcategories. That's a context filter. To take it off, you can simply either remove from context or take it off the view. Then you take it off you take it off from the view. Now I'll make another part of the tutorial to explain the fixed LODs and include LODs. They are concept on their own, but let's move on to what we call measures filters. All right. So I have sum of cells here, and if I filter by sum of cells, it gives me a range of values. So you have an option to toggle. I want to start from, let's say, 611,000 to all the way to 1 billion, whatever, or at least this number, or at most this number. You can toggle back and forth. Now let's go back to the range. The range gives you all the numbers in the data source that you have. And if I show this filter, show filter, you have a slider. So measures filters, they give you a slider. Dimension filter, they give you categories which you can select. Now you can toggle back and forth, see how my numbers are changing. This is a measures filter working. All right. I'll talk back for all the numbers and let's talk about table calc. To explain table calcs, let me use the date field. I have all the date right here. It's showing me 4 years, and let's do subcategory and also sales. Now, these are sales per each and every year per subcategory. And if I click the drop down arrow, there's this option for quick table calculations. Now, these table calculations are pre-built calculations by Tableau that you can just toggle on and off for you to make a calculation. You don't have to type in the whole calculation. So we have running total, difference, percentage different, percentage of total, rank, percentile, moving average. Year to date total, it is grayed out right now because it doesn't apply for this visualization. Compound growth year over year, year to date growth. Let's do percent difference. We are looking at the difference from last year to this year as a percentage. All right. So it takes off percentages from 2011 because it has to have a prior year. We don't have 2010 data, so it will be empty for 2011. But anyway, we have these numbers, and if you want to see how it is computed, I'm hitting Control and I'm dragging to to the to the data pane here. And if I add the data source, this is how the calculation is computed. So Zn sum of cells minus lookup Zn sum of cells minus 1, which is for previous year, then absolute value, lookup, blah, 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 blah. So that's the formula that is using to calculate this. You don't have to type it all the time. It's pre-built for you. All right, so this is a table calculation. This is applied at last after all the context filters, after all the extract filters, the data source filters, the dimension filter, the measures filter. So let's just do a O for dimensions. Then we're doing cells here. Let me put back cells. All right, and just toggle back and forth here. Let me show it a little bit better. Or let me just do entire view for now. All right. Fit height. I think this is better. All right. So we are seeing the sum of cells and the percentage differences. So the difference, 126 minus 87,000 is a 45% increase. And if we look right here, do we have any negative? Right here. We had 115 here and 92, so it's a 90%, 19% negative difference. All right. So if I drag cells, all values, apply, show filter. So I can apply this categorical dimension filter is applied first, then this is the order of operation, the measures will be applied first, then the table calculations will be calculated after all these filters are applied. So I'm going to make another tutorial, section of the tutorial where we explain in detail what fixed LODs are, what include and exclude LODs are. But those are your filters in a nutshell in Tableau. Thank you for watching. See you again in the next section of the tutorial. Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial where we talk about joins in Tableau or options to combine data in Tableau. There are multiple ways you can connect data in Tableau, and I am going to show you some of the ways that you can do this. So there are three main types of connecting data. One is relationships, which is the default way Tableau uses to connect data. Joins, which is one of the most popular way to connect data, and also blending. Blending, wherever you have data that have got various or different levels of granularity, you then want to use blending. All right. The difference is here is that when you are using published data sources, you can do blending, but for relationships and joins, you cannot perform relationships and joins are on published data sources. Though you can publish data with a relationship, or you can publish data with joins, but you cannot perform joins with, let's say, two published data sources. I hope that makes sense. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do this in Tableau. I have my Tableau open and I am going to connect to a data source, Excel file, and I'm going to go to global and I'm going to drag orders to the canvas, and I'm going to join it or make a relationship with the people table. I'm just going to drag it and drop it to the right. So I have this string. It shows that there's a relationship, and Tableau is smart enough to pick this to make a relationship by region. And what relationship does is it maintains the totals from both tables. They remain the same. Um, but for joins, it adds more data depending on how the data is structured. So when you do relationships, you kind of do away with joins. You do away with the nows, do away with numbers that are inflated. That's why Tableau by default goes with the relationships. Joins, now you have to deal with nows, you have to deal with duplicated data, you have to clean a little bit data more depending on the use case. All right, so now we have two tables joined together, made a relationship or religion. We have table orders and we have got table people. And I can still build views from both tables. Let's say category, and let's go to the people sheet, and let's do it this way and also pull maybe sales from the orders table. So I am making a sheet based on two tables that I have made a relationship with. That's the basics of a relationship. And let's explain now how to do a join. So for a join, let me go back again to the canvas right here. I'm going to drag orders to the canvas and or on the drop down, there's an open option. And also you can simply double click it. Then you open. We call it on the relationship level, on the what's the term? I can't remember the term that is used, but we kind of opened it up so that we can connect the data source. Now I can drag people to the right, and I have this Venn diagram, and now I have option to make a left join, an inner join, a full join, or a right join. So if I double click on the Venn diagram, I have those options: inner join, left join, right join, full outer join. Depending on the use case, you can choose either of these, but you'd find that most of the cases you'll be using left joins, but it always depends with the use case. What do you want to accomplish with your data source? Now, for inner join, we have orders and people, and inner join only gets to show the matches from both tables. Any rows that match that are found in orders and that are found in people, these are the ones that you have for your analysis. For a left join, you have everything from orders and only matches from the people table. Right join, we have everything from the people table and only matches from the orders table. Full outer join, you combine everything from both tables. So depending again on the use case, you have to choose what you want to do. So in my case, I just want to do a left join, everything from orders table and matches from the people table. Click it. And also, while you're here, you can order on you can join on region. You can also add a new clause, like maybe you wanna order, you wanna use. Let me see if there's order ID. Is there an order ID? There's no order ID here. So that's basically what you can join on this in this data source. You can only join by if you try to do anything else, it will really want to join. So I took it out again. I've just joined, left join on region. And now when I go into the sheet, I'm now able to make a view. Category, person, and let me try to get sales. There you go. And you can see the way it's presented is different. The way that the data is shown here is a little bit different than when you are doing a relationship. But whatever option that you choose, it always depends on the use case. Now, those are the joins for you. All you need to understand is what does an inner join do? What does the full join do? What does a left join do? And a right join do? All right, let's go ahead and look at data blending. For data blending, we use two or more data sources that have got different levels of granularity. And in my case, I'm going to have a new clean, right, there you go. I want an Excel file, and I go to my downloads and click this orders Excel file. And I want to blend it with, so it's selected to the canvas because I put one sheet in the Excel file. Now, if I go to data, new data source, I want to connect it to blend to the JSON file. I click a JSON file and I go with this targets JSON file. Right now, I just put two data sources into Tableau. I haven't blended yet, but I have two data sources, so targets and orders. So if I go on the sheet, okay, let's see what's going on. There you go. Perfect. So if I now go on the sheet, I have those two data sources. And now, since we are here, you can connect as many data sources as you want in Tableau. And you can have one workbook can have 10 data sources. I have workbook that have got like 20 data sources that are different, and my clients want to view all those information into one workbook. So you can make a view on orders, you can make views on targets, you can keep on adding data sources and make views separately. There won't be any join or any connection, but you can do that and keep on working with multiple data sources into one workbook. So now if you go on data, edit blend relationship, there is an option primary data source, secondary data source. You specify what you want as your primary data source. In my case, I'll keep it as it is. And there's an automatic way for Tableau can just go and find which field to join with or to blend with, or you can do a custom. So I can come here, you can add or yeah, add and look for the fields. Let me see if I can get any. All right, because I know what's going on here. Let me just try to go back and take off, close the targets and add targets one more time. New data source, JSON file, and targets. Perfect. Right, I have now the category. I want to join by category. So when I come here and add data, edit blend relationships, I can choose which I want to be a primary or secondary data source. You can toggle back and forth. You can make orders your primary. You can make orders targets your primary. Then I want to do automatic. Tableau will just find which are the common columns in both tables, and also those columns may not be named exactly, so you might map it. Maybe it might be category, then it might be something else or department in another data source. So if you go on custom, you can then double click here, then you can select, or you can just click add. Now Tableau is automatically blended this on categories, so I'll just keep it as it is. But again, you can edit it, you can remove it, you can add a new one. So okay, so it's watch what happens here. Okay, and when I build a sheet here, if I look on these two icons, let me see if I can expand a little bit more. So on orders and on targets, look what happens when I drag something to the canvas. When I drag category to the sheet here on columns, I have a blue check mark on orders, and let me drag something from targets table. And let me do it on rows here. Then I want to do another one here. I have an orange check mark. And this simply means that when you're working the blended relationships, when you have a blue check mark, that's the primary data source. When you have an orange check mark, that is your secondary data source. And again, from here, you can go ahead and build your visualization the way you like it. You can make whatever charts that we showed earlier. You can make them as just as before. So that's basically how you do relationship joins and blending. And also you can connect to multiple data sources in a one workbook and keep on building visualization. Since we are here, I am going to do a quick, so I have a new workbook that is opening up right here. It's going to take a few seconds. There you go. I want to show you that you can, let's say I have a visualization that is, I'm going to connect to Coffee Chain and make a quick visualization. Another easiest way to import a data source from one workbook to another. So let's say I'm just going to do something that is basic and a bar chart, something like this, and this. All right. So I've got two workbook, one Tableau Public one and book two. So you can come here and do copy. It's not here because I'm using Tableau Public, but if you're using Tableau Desktop, you can copy this whole worksheet and come here and paste here. Then if you do that, it will copy the view that you have and the data source into your new workbook. So it's another way to combine, not necessarily to combine data, but to combine workbooks into one. So I hope that really is a time saver when you're working with in the real world, where you just need to combine some sheets from another workbook into one sheet. So that's a trick for you. Let's go ahead to the next section of the course. Hello, everyone. Welcome to an interesting topic in Tableau, which is called parameters. Now, parameters, sets, filters, they make your dashboard interactive. They make it enjoyable to consume. But what are parameters? Parameters are variables that you can use to manipulate or change either a date, an integer, a time, a string, or a special data. So parameters are variables. Think of them as an empty box that you can put almost anything in there that you want. There are various ways that you can use a parameter. You can use it as a filter. I will show you how to do that. You can use it on a reference band. You can use it on a reference line. You can use them in a calculation. I will show you all how to do all this. And also you can use, basically you use parameters to manipulate the data in the view. All right. First steps are when you're creating a parameter, of course, you have to create it, you have to show it, you have to use it in a calculation, or use it somehow in a view. Those are the four main steps when creating a parameter. So let's jump to Tableau and create some parameters. So I'm connected to my global superstore and I'm dropping orders to the canvas. And let's start with our first use case of a parameter. So I'll rename this sheet and just say swap measure. So in this parameter, we want to swap measures. Let's say we have category here, and we have subcategory, and we have. So we want to. Right now, we have one option to use one measure here. Of course, you can put all the measure values here and measure names here. Then you can have this view. But what if you want to see one measure at a time? All right, so I'm gonna back here and I take this one out. So you will need a parameter in that instance. So I want to create a parameter and I'll just call it swap measure. And I want it to be a string and I want a list. So I want to use three measures. I want to use profit, quantity, and sales. So I'll start with profit, quantity, and sales. Now, this is where you select which data type you are working with. And you can either have all list or range. In my case, I want to use a list. And that's it for a parameter. That's how I create a parameter. So the next thing, I'll right click it and show it. So there's my parameter. Now, parameter don't do anything unless you use them in a view or in a calculation or in a filter or in a reference band. All right. So in this case, I'll use a parameter in a calculation. So I'll create a calculation and I'll make this calculation swap measure control. This is um, my standard operating procedure. Whenever I have a calculation that is tied to a parameter, I will add it. I'll name it as a parameter and add a control to it. All right. So in this case, we're going to use a case statement. So case in the event we are referencing swap measure, when it's profit, there's your string part, profit, then I want to use profit here. When sales, then sales. When, what was the third one? Quantity. So the spellings have to be perfect, otherwise it won't work. Then quantity, then and your case statement. Perfect. So now I have that calculation and I just only need to place it in a view like this one. All right. So right now my parameter swap measure is on sales. I'm showing sales right here. If I move to profit, it will change to profit. If I swap it to quantity, it will change to quantity. And if you want to be more intuitive to your users, then you can come right here. If you can see, I double clicked on the title and I'm taking sheet name off and I'm going to say measure, or maybe let me just type showing. Then I come on the insert and go on swap measure control. Yeah, showing quantity, showing whatever. All right. Actually, actually, I can do it this way. Showing, take this one, because that one was giving me a range. Yeah, I have to go on the parameter. I went on the calculated field. Perfect now. So now I'm showing sales, I'm showing quantity, I'm showing sales, I'm showing profit. So that is a parameter to swap a measure. We can do the same thing to swap dimensions. Again, we need to create a parameter. I'll just call it again swap dimension. Swap dimension. Then I want it to be a string and list. So we can do category, we can do segment. Let's just do 2 for now. Then that's all we need to do. And again, you need to show it. And also you need to use it in a calculator field. Swap dimension control. So again, case statement, swap dimension. When is category, then give me category. When, I think I did segment, then give me segment and end. So I'll take this, use it in a view, and I can do my profit. Then now I can, let me do it this way and this way. Now I can swipe. I'm showing segment right now: consumer, corporate, and home office. And if I do category, it will give me 3 categories. For it to be more visual to you, I can maybe add one more. I can start from the parameter, swap dimension, then edit. I can add another one right here and say subcategory. And go again and change the calculated field. Just add one more. When subcategory, then subcategory. All right, let's see subcategory. All right, I need to go change again. I think I did an error here. Let me see. There's a C for category is capitalized. I didn't capitalize on my calculation. That is the issue. So your calculate your words should be perfect. Apply. Now it's working as it's supposed to be. All right. So now when I toggle category, I change segment, I change subcategory, I change again. So that is using a parameter on in a calculation. So let's do a parameter to change geographical values. All right, so here is the, let's say we want to have states and I want to focus on America. Just you can search here, state, United States, apply. Then I can do profit and change it to a field map right here. Okay, so I want to be able to select a state here. Let's say California, and I'll be able to view only California. Then these ones will be grayed out. All right, so to do that, you would need a parameter again. So I'm going to do a couple of steps here. First of all, I want to create a calculator field, which is US state only. So if country is equals to United States, then states, then actually show me, give me state. Else, show me nothing. And if statements, you have to end it. All right, so now I have used US states only. If I do this, it will only show me US states from Alabama all the way to Wyoming. And and everything is on now. All right. So this is what I want, and I want to change this one to a geographical row of a state. Perfect. So when I double click it, it gives me this map. Perfect. And now I can, let's say, just put profit on label. Then another step that I just want to add, you don't have to edit if you, I'll just do profit margin. Profit margin. So I want some profit divided by some sales. Perfect. Apply and okay. Then I want it to format this one to a percentage to one decimal place. Then profit margin, I'll put also on text. So now I am showing profit and profit margin. So for California, we had, I'm just zooming in, 76,000 profit and 16.7 profit margin. Perfect. And I'm showing it like this. Now I want to zoom and focus only on a specific state after I select that state. So now we can create a parameter. So I would say state parameter. I can make it a string list. Then I want it to get the states from the US state field. That's why I created this calculation so that I can only get US states only. Because if I just take from this state, it will take all the states in the world. But in my case, I want to focus on US states. So that's why I did create that calculation. And you can see it only pulls in US states. Okay. Now you see this one unknown is because they are now, we said if state is equals to United States, then state else now. Now that's the now that's being referenced here. So you don't have to worry about this one unknown. And now we have created a state parameter. Again, you have to show it. And it doesn't work because right now it doesn't work because parameter don't do anything unless you use them in a calculation, in a view or reference line, or in some way in a calculation. So right now we go ahead and create a calculation. Now state parameter control. Now all you need to do is US state control. US states only should be state parameter. So whatever they selected in Colorado, we should match what we have in the calculation. So apply. Okay. So you take this one. It's I'm using it on a filter. So again, US state parameter control on a filter. I set it to true and apply. Perfect. Now it's on Colorado, and is on Colorado. And if I switch to Georgia, it's going to Georgia. If I switch to North Dakota, if I switch to any state that I want, it can then work accordingly. So that's how to use a parameter in a filter. So the first two was in a calculation. This one is in a filter. And the third one that I want to show you is to show a parameter in a reference line or reference band. So let's do maybe subcategory. I want something like this. And let's go with profit. I want a bar chart. Perfect. And show my profit. So you can see my profit ranges from 64,000 to 258. If I go, okay, right. If I go on analytics tab, there's options to add a constant line, which is just a line. You can add a value that you want. Let's say 30,000. It's just changed. That's a constant line. We don't want it. So you can just go back again. We don't need a constant line. Perfect. Now there's an average line that you can put. Tableau should just find which is the average of these numbers and it will give you 86,000, whatever numbers that you have. Then let's go on reference line, reference band, and distributed band. Right. So when I do on table, I have this box that comes out. And now if I go on value, there's an option to create a new parameter. So this is how you create a parameter to on a reference band. So on a reference line. So I go create a parameter, then I get another that option again to create a parameter. Then I'll say choose let's say threshold. Perfect. And I want it to be at a range, and I can make it to choose the values from I'm using profit. I can make it choose values from profit, and gives me the range here. I can create a list, and I can let me delete these ones. So for list, let's say I can specify the numbers that I want. Let's say 10,000, 15,000. So you can make it static or dynamic. 25,000. Let me just do bigger step sizes here. 75,000, 100,000, 150, duplicate. So 100,000, 150, and 200. So depending on the use case, you can add static numbers like this. All right. So I've choose the parameter here, and I want it to show the value. So right now it's 10,000. That's why you're seeing 10,000. And I can now change the thresholds now to 15,000, to 75,000, 100,000. And I'm using a parameter to make these changes. So that's how you use a parameter on a reference line. Same thing with the reference band on a table. Now, since reference line, reference band, they are the same thing, and distributed band, they are the same thing. They just give you more details. So right now I'm on 200,000. And if I go on 10,000, this will change. 20,000. Actually, let me do it this way. Reference band. Perfect. Create a new parameter. Oh, I can show you on a clean sheet. We have subcategory, then my profit as a bar chart and analytics, then a reference band on table, and then here create a parameter, and we're gonna just do a threshold here. I want to be a list. Let's do 25,000, 50, 75, 100,000, 150, 200,000. Perfect. Okay. All right. And of course, you can change your fill in colors here if you want to. Your line color, blah, blah, blah. It's all up to you. You can also change the value. So right now it's writing threshold, but if I say value, it gives me the value that I have selected here. And you can also do custom. You can do something like this. You can say field label, then you can do value. And right here, you can do an equal sign. Perfect. So threshold is cost. Now that's what I was editing. Threshold is cost 25,000. Now when I change to 50,000, threshold is cost to 50,000. So it will start from the number that you have. That's a distribution band here to the maximum number. And that's how you create a parameter on a calculation, on a filter, on a reference line, on a reference band. So that's basically how to do that. But there's a lot of things that you can do with parameters in Tableau. You can swap sheets. You can do a lot of stuff in Tableau. But basically, this is all you need to know about parameters. Cheers and good luck. Hello, welcome to another interesting topic about Tableau, which is level of detail expressions. Now, LODs, as we call them, are very powerful. They allow you to independently specify the level of detail of your calculation. Now, there are three types of LODs. We have got fixed, include, and exclude. Most people might be familiar with fixed, but in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to calculate those three. But before we even get to that, I think it is very fundamental or very important for you to understand how Tableau does calculations. So there are two types of calculations. We have got row level calculations or row level expressions and aggregate expressions. So let's go to Tableau, explain what it does, and then we can go to LODs. All right, so I have my global superstore selected with orders on the canvas. And if I go on sheet number one, I want to put subcategory on the rows, and I want to create two calculations. So profit margin one. So this one is a raw level expression. All right, so what I want to do is I want to do profit divided by sales. Perfect. So this calculates the profit per each row in the data source, and the sales per each row per data source then gives you the result. So I'm going to apply it and drag it right here and change it to text. Perfect. And if you see, I will just go back one more time so that you can see. So profit margin, when I drag it to the calculation, I can show you in this way. Then profit margin, when I drag it to the view, Tableau automatically sums it up. Tableau aggregates it up. My calculation was not aggregated. It was just profit and sales. But now Tableau aggregates it to a sum. Now this becomes an aggregate. Now there are different types of aggregates. Let me show you one thing here. I'm going to close this one. I'll come back to this one. So let's say I have category and sales, right? If I come here, by default, Tableau aggregates to a sum, which is just an addition. But there are different types of aggregations that are out there. There is average, there's median, count distinct, mean, max, percentile. You have 5% out up to 95% down, or you can toggle it the way you want it. You've got the standard deviation, you've got the variance. Those are aggregations that are out there. So by default, Tableau goes to sum, but you can toggle to average. You can toggle to count distinct. Let's say I want to see count distinct of orders that were ordered per each and every what do you call it? Per each and every category. Then you can do your count distinct right here, and I can put it actually on text. Then you can see those count distinct order IDs. Actually, I'm looking at unique order IDs per each and every categories. Then there's also attribute, which is a topic on its own. But anyway, this is those are the aggregates. So back to our sheet. So this is not aggregate to a profit margin, but it's showing raw level calculations. So if I go back again to a text, and now I want to create a new calculation, also profit margin 2. And this one will be an aggregate calculation. Aggregate calc. And now I'm going to sum everything, sum profit divided by sum sales. All right. Apply, and I want to just put it on text, and now measure values on text and measure names on columns. Perfect. Then I will just want to take these ones out. We don't need this one. We don't need these three. Perfect. Take this one out and out. Perfect. Right. So these are two calculations, number one and number two. Another one is a sum. Another one is an aggregate. Why? It's because on how we are calculating. The first one, this one, is being calculated on a raw level basis. So it depends now how you want to visualize the results. Do you want to calculate on a specific raw or in aggregate terms? All right, so you can see right here, um, if I do totals, actually, these are percentages anyway. Um, so you can see that the raw level one is higher than the aggregate one. What basically we are doing here is simple. Let's say I have an Excel file like this one, product A to J, our sales, and our profit. So what raw level is doing is calculating profit, which is 300 in our case, divided by sales for each and every row, and I can drag it all the way to the end. So then it is gonna it's being summed at the end. That's our raw level calculation. What's doing now? Our aggregate AGG, we we sum first, sales and profit. We sum it, so then we do our division. So we say profit divided by sales. So this is which is 6. This is 5.99, and this is 0.611. That's the difference that we are getting because of the level of detail which we are calculating at. Now, I think this leads us nicely into level of detail calculations or level of detail expressions. Now, with level of detail expressions, like I said before, you are able then to compute your calculations depending on which level of you can choose your calculation to be based on any level that you want. So I said we have fixed, include, and exclude. I will show you how to do fixed. So for a fixed level of detail, one of the use case of a fixed level of detail is when you're calculating percent of total. So let's say I am looking at, I'll do country, and I want to just look at United States. Perfect. Apply. Then I want to see state, add all members in America. Then I want to look at sales and sort it. Right. So I'm seeing sales per each and every state in America. But now I want to see this country, the country's total sales. So I'll create a calculation. I've already created it somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, country sales. So what you do here is you create a fixed level of detail calculation. So you say fixed, then the dimension that you want to specify country, semicolons, then you always aggregate it, sum sales, then you close your curly brackets. Perfect. So apply, and now I want to drag it to the view. And I'm going to show measure names right here, measure values, and take out these two, and take out all these. We don't need them. Perfect. All right. So now I'm seeing California sales against the the country sales. So this is the same because they are all United States. So they are, or the total page and every state is this, and this is for the country. Now, what if I want to see the percent of North Dakota towards the national sales? So that's where the state percent of total comes in. That's where we need to also to now make those calculations. Now I'm just going to do sales, which is this number divided by this number. Apply it. I have already created it, so I'll just drop it right here. And now I have to format it as a percentage. Now I can see that California is contributing 19.92% towards national sales. Maine is contributing 0.06% towards national sales. So this calculation is only feasible when you are using when you, of course, you can, there might be workarounds, yeah, but this is where level of detail comes in, and there's a ton of things that you can do with the level of detail expressions. For example, you can you calculate daily profit KPIs. You can narrow down your calculation to a day. You can do code analysis. You can do customer order frequency. You can do new customer acquisition calculations. You can calculate sales per each and every dimension that you want. For example, let's say here, you can calculate sales per all these dimensions using a first level detail calculation. All right, let's move on to the next part. So that was a fixed level of detail. Now let's look at the include. All right. Let's say we have subcategory in sales. So these are total sales page in every subcategory. And what if we want to see the actual, or maybe the average sales per customer in these categories? All right. So in that case, we're gonna use include. So I have already done the calculation. So it's include customer name, sum of sales. Or let me just repeat it one more time here. You type include the dimension that you want to include, customer name, sum of sales. Sum sales, then you close it. Sales per customer. So I'm going to drag it. Let me create a bar chart here for easy analysis. All right. So I'm going to drag this one and put it on the right. So this is still giving me sum per customer, but I want to see average. So when I go to measure and average, now, so for the accessory subcategory, I have sales of 749, 237, but the average sale per customer in that category is 968. So that you can use an include calculation to specify the dimension that you want to, the granularity that you want to see the results at. Again, I can do. Let's say I have maybe region. So I'm going to do create a calculation. Another way, while it's right here, another way to do that is to click the dimension that you want, region, and I want to see average sales per region. Then I would right click, create LOD calculation. It will give me a fixed one, but I will just do include here. All right. Sales, I wanna do sales per region, and we want to choose an aggregation to use per region. And then I'm going to drag it right here. This is now looking at the region, and I'm going to change to see, let me look at minimum sales per each region per accessory per subcategory. 40,000, 4,000, then 849. So that's basically how you use include. And now I'm going to use exclude. For exclude, I've already created this chart which shows the region, sales, and month of order date. But suppose I want to exclude region. I have it in the view, but I want to exclude it in the calculation, in the results. So I'm going to do exclude region. So again, curly brackets, exclude region, then some cells or measure that you're working with. Some cells, then you close it. All right. Exclude region, some cells. All right. So you can do some. So the result that you're seeing are showing the results. I can actually put this one. Actually, where is it? Edit. Yeah, that's the one. I can put this one on color, and I'm now seeing the results on some of sales per region, but without the region is not being used in the computation, though it's in the view, but it's no longer used in the results. And for include, we used average sales per customer name was not included in the view, but we called it and it was used. So for include, we can use other dimensions that are not in the view. For exclude, we use dimensions in the view and exclude it on the results. I hope it makes sense. All right. So another thing that I want to show is, let's say I have this calculation, or rather, I'll just drag right click order date and do mean order date right here. So it's going to give me this date 1/1/21. This is the lowest or the earliest date in our data source that an order date was done, 1/1/2011. So I can change this one to a max. Then it will show me the maximum date for the order date, which is 12/31/2014. So yes, there are some point where you need to know the mean order date. Let's say I have subcategory furniture of supplies and technology. Actually, I can present it better like this and this. All right, and drop it right here. Let me see. Yeah, it's telling me. All right. Just for our reference sake, furniture, the maximum order is 12/31. Same thing for supplies, same thing for this. And there you go. And if I do mean, same thing need to tell you. And if you look at our data set and you go on order date, we start in 2011. And if you scroll down or drill down rather, you come to January 1, as we have seen. And if we really go all the way, we go to 2014, December 31. So those are what mean and max function do. All right, that's that for LLD functions or LLD expressions. And see you to the next section of the course. Hello, welcome to this section of the tutorial where we talk about Tableau calculated fields. We are going to discuss all the calculations that you can find in Tableau. So we have string calculations or string functions, date functions, logical functions, type conversion functions, aggregate functions, spatial and user functions. We're going to jump to Tableau and get started. All right, and I am going to just work with customer name. Take it to rows, add all members. All right, so like I said before, you can go to create a calculator field right here by clicking this drop down arrow, or you can go to analysis and create calculated fields. And if you click this caret, this window opens, and if you click string, you have access to all these. If you click all number calculations, string calculation, date calculation, type conversion, logical, aggregate, user, table, and special calculations. But in our case, for now, let's start with string. All right, I'm going to share some that I feel like they're important or more useful, and then you can play around with them and get familiar with them. So my first one is contains. So you contains, you specify the field name that you want and this substring that you want. So we want to check if NES is contained in any customer name here. So contains brings a Boolean result, either true or false. So we see a true here, then they are false. And you can now filter by true and see which ones contains NES in their name. So contains returns a Boolean result. Let's do another one, which is ends with. Ends with also bring returns a Boolean result. Customer name. Let's find anything that ends with the T. We have a true here. Let me maximize a little bit. We have a true here. I can also filter by true. So all these names, they end with a T. All these names that you see, Prescott, Holt, Rupert, Stewart, they all ends with a T. All right, that's contains and end with. End with. Let's look at another one in a string, which is find. You can increase by size by hitting Control and zooming in, scrolling on your mouse. So let's say you want to find where a specific character string A is found on a customer name. You can use find, and you can actually do AT, whatever you want. In my case, I'll just do A. Now, because it gives a numerical edit, because it's gonna find like where A is in this string, it's gonna give you a numerical position. So that's why it's put in as a measure here. But you would want to make it so that if you want to visualize it clearly here, you might need to change it to discrete and convert it to a dimension. Then when you drag it here, it will just come up with the number that you, the positional number that you want. So A in this VVX standardism is on position number 11. A on Yana is on position number 2. And this was because they start with A is on position number 1. So that's fine for you. And if you have done your calculations and you want to go back to your calculations, you can just go right here, actually go on this funnel and filter by calculation. Then you have all the calculations that you have done in that workbook. All right, let's do another one. Left. So left returns the the number, the characters. You specify the number of characters that you want. I want to return 5 characters. So it will look at, let's say, Aaron, Batman, and it will return the first 5 letters. So left, and I'll just drop it right here. Then it will return all the first 5 letters. And if I want again, I can limit to 2, edit, 2 letters. I want to return to the first 2 letters, then it can just do that. Same thing with right. It will return the last characters that you specify. So I want to return the last 3 characters, and it will be dimension. So I just drag it right here. Then it will say a Beckman. The last 3 is MAN, MAN. Perfect. Let's see if I can find some more on the string. Lower, or actually I can do length. The length one returns you the length of that string. So length, customer name. So it will count the characters in that dimension. So it will just tell you that Beckman have got 13 characters, Amy Cox have got 7 characters. Let's do another one. Let's do lower. Yeah, I'll do lower and upper, then we're done with the string calculations. So lower converts everything to lowercase. So A was capitalized here, now is a lowercase. Same thing with upper. Upper capitalize. So I want to capitalize customer name, or I can capitalize lower, or whatever, this lower. Then everything is capitalized. And I'm thinking of another one called proper. Let's see if I can get to it. string, yeah, proper. So proper, it does what we call camel case. Proper, then I want to do, so I'm gonna proper this upper so that it can appear as A capitalized and the rest lowercase. Upper looks good. So proper it properly format your text. So if it capitalizes the word, so the first letter of the word. So Aaron is capital A is capitalized, Bergman B is capitalized. All right, those are that. But what mentions on the string calculations are character, min and max. You will find them when we discuss min and max. Mid also looks at the item within that text. Regular expressions, replace if you want to replace, split. You want to split. Yes, you also wanna. I can do quickly split, but let me do split. Yeah, split. You would want it if you want to clean up your data. So let's do split. Customer name. So you have to specify on which criteria that you want to split. And what, so we have got Aaron Bergman. I want to split on space, which is this space that I put right here. And I want it to return number one, which is Aaron. I can say I want to return number two. I want it to return Bergman. So let's do one, apply, okay. So it should return the first one because I did one. But if I had done two, it would have returned the last name. So you can see now it's changed to last name. So those are the main ones when you're dealing with text in Tableau. Let's go ahead and move to the other section of this tutorial. All right, we are now looking at date functions in Tableau. I'm on my Tableau and I'm going to share this in my Tableau public, and I'll provide a link in the description. So whenever you want to reference this, you'll be able to get to it. So we are looking at date functions. All right. So let me first mention, okay, create calculator field, go on date. Let me first mention this day, today, week, year, quarter. So I'll start with today. It gives me the date for today. So today, I'm going to drop it on text. I want you to notice that this icon for today right here, it's a date, and you will see why. It doesn't return the time. It only gives you the date part of it, not the date and time. So I'm going to put it on text, and it's going to be the year because it's on year. But if I just do this and do more custom, and I do month, date, year, it gives me the entire date, December 12, 2024. So same thing with now, but now today gives you the date, and now gives you the date and time. So you might need date and time. So check right here. The icon is different, date and time. So I'm going to drop it on text again, and we are doing now. I'm going to do more custom month, day, year. Then boom, it's giving me date year. But if you keep on, let me do hour. It give you the hour. If you do the minute, it will give you the minute because it's a date and time. So it will check your system time and use it. Same thing with year, same thing with week, same thing with quarter. So these ones are month, now, quarter, today, week, year. They use your system time. All right, let's do date add, date diff, date name, date paste, date trunk, these ones. All right. Now, to showcase these ones, I would need an order ID and order date. So So now this order was ordered on 10/3/2011. So let's do go on date. And to write a calculation, you don't need to come here. I'm just doing this to show you, but you can do a date add without even going to that. So let's say on order date, I want to add, let's say, month. So whenever you are dealing with dates, you have to put a string, lowercase. You want to add 3 months on order date. So date add, I want to add the month part of the date, and I want to add 3 months to that. Then this is date add. When I drop it right here, we had actually let me drop it differently. I'm going to wasted add, right click and drag and select discrete so that I can have that particular date. So at 10/3/2011, I've added 3 months. So 10, which is November, December, and January, which is 1/3/2012. I've added the month part of it. The day will remain the same and the year will change depending on which way it falls. So date add allows you to add either the month, the date, the day, or the year. So while we're on date add there, let me just show date add. You can add the year. Date add, you specify in the lower cases year. Maybe you want to add 5 years to order date. It will give you a date time. Then I'm just adding a year, so it was 2011 plus 5 is 2016. So you can specify the part of date that you want to add to the date. Let's do another one, which is date difference. So let's say you want to subtract two dates. Actually, there's another video that I've done in Python and another video that I've done for Tableau and also for SQL that explains these calculations. So for a date diff, you would need two dates. You want to calculate the difference between two dates. So let's say I have order ID. Right clicking, dragging it. I'll just drag it as it is. Just drag it as it is and add all members. Then I have order date. Right click, drag it and select discrete. And I have ship date. What is shipping date? Right click and select discrete. So this first order was ordered on 10/3/2011 and it was shipped at 10/7/2011. But we want to calculate the number of days between these two. So we can do also a date different calculator. Date diff. So date diff, you want to do the days between order date, comma, ship date. So it's a measure because we are counting the number of difference in the number of days. So I'm going to convert it to a discrete and I'm going to do a dimension on it. And when I drag it here, it's going to tell me the number of days between the order date and the ship date. So 10/3, it was 10/7, and the difference is 4 days. Same thing when you come down to this. Let's say this order, it was ordered on 1/1/2014, shipped in 1/5. So there's 1/6. There's 5 days to ship. So you can use this information now to create a visualization to see which ones if they higher days to be shipped. Let me do descending and by field, and we want to do date diff, date diff. This one. Let me keep it and see what happens. No. Anyway, you can do a calculation to see which one. You can sort this one to see which one you have put the highest and lowest, highest days to be shipped and lowest days to be shipped. So, for example, there's a 0 here. It was ordered on shipped on the same day. That's the diff for you. Let's look at another one. Alrighty, we're doing date now. Date name, it just gives you the name. Date name So you specify, let's say month, order date. So it will check and say, okay, 311, that was the order date. So then when I know the name of the month, so it will be January, February, March, which is number 3. So date name and boom, March. Then it will like, this is May, because the month is 5, which is May. So it will give you the actual name of that month, not the numerical value, but the actual name of it. Let's do another one. And all these calculations, you can use them in conjunction with one another. Let's see if I can get another one. Let me do date part. Date part kind of it kind of returns the date. Let's say you want to do the day of order date. So it will retrieve the day from order date, and it will give you a date. We're doing date part and dimension and drop it right here. It will tell you that 11, it will pull out that part that you're specifying. I specify the day, so it's going to return 7 for November 7, 2011. All right, and let's see if I can do date trunk. Date trunk, the best way to understand it is just to think of it as it's kind of around it. So you can trunk it to a month of order date or whatever date that you are working with. And again, I'm going to share this in Tableau Public, and you'll be able to see it. All right. Date trunk. We want to see the month. You can specify. Yeah, perfect. So you can see October 3, 2011. If you truncate it to a month, it's gonna be it will just pull out the month of it. It's gonna return October. Let's do 731. It's gonna be July, because we're truncating it to a month. Let me see if there's one more that I feel is, yeah, day, and now it's almost the same. I think I did day already. Yeah, those are the calculations, date calculations in Tableau, and play around with them. And like I said, you can always play around with them in conjunction, so that you can come up with more insight, more insights. Welcome to this section of the course where we talk about logical functions, logical calculations in Tableau. This is where you allow, after you input your calculation, Tableau will do the thinking for you, and it will return anything that meets the logic that you are thinking. So I'm going to show you some of the calculations that we have here. We have on logical, we have and case statement. Case statement, we used it when we did our parameter overview section of the course. If statement, else if, and if now, if he, in, is dead, not, or, then, and when. All right, I'm going to show you how to do this. All right. So if I have subcategory and profit on rows, I can do an if statement where I can say if sum of profit is greater than 150,000, like this number upwards, then it's most profitable. If sum of profit, else if sum of profit is greater than 100,000, then fairly profitable. Else if sum of profit greater than 20,000, we just want it to be profitable. Greater than 0, profitable. Else is a loss. So I will take that if statement, drop it on color. Then I can have this beautiful visualization that has this legend, and you can edit the color right here and say break even, we want it to be gray, most profitable, we want it to be blue, fairly profitable, maybe green, and maybe something like this. Then you can now filter. So you want to show those that are break even, those that are fairly profitable, So imagine if you are connected to a live data source, you can have this data changing as your sales or your profit goes up and down throughout the day, throughout the year, throughout the months. So that's the if statement. There's another one. So the if statement that I've shown you right here is used when you want multiple conditions. If you have two conditions that you want to come up with, let's say you have this one, and you have two conditions. You have you use the IFI. So create calculated field on logical. There's this IFI, IIF. We call it the IFI. You, I have it already edited, so we can have if some profit is greater than zero, then profitable, else a loss. Then I can drag it on color, and it is going to show me just two options, either a profit or a loss. So depending if you want to use, you have yes, an if statement can be used on two outcomes, but the best one is an ify statement if we have two outcomes. All right, let's do product ID. All right, let's do country. Now, excuse me. So suppose you want to see, you want to do in right here. So let's say we want to group these countries, and I do something like this. All right, in statement. So if country in United States or Canada or Mexico, then make them North America, else return now. So I'm going to take that one and drop it right here, and I can do filter now out. Then I can have those three countries as grouped into North America. So let's say I would just want to see, I would just want to see sales by North America. Push it on text. Then the total for all three countries is 2,986,720. So that's the in statement. Let's see. There are cases where you'd also want to, let me see if I can do it the country and order that. Right. You see, Bahrain does not have anything. If I can just drop maybe profit here, does not have anything on 2011, 2012, 2015, and it's just blank. Now, Tableau, if there's no data, it doesn't show you anything. But sometimes it's not good for you to show those blanks. You just want to replace those blanks with a zero. Then that's where you use the ZN function. So, logical calculations, then the ZN statement. So you just say Z wrap in what the measure that you want. So mine is ZN some profit. And if I do replace some profit as ZN, now I have already put those zeros, but you cannot say unless you come on analysis. You go on table layout, you show empty columns, then there's zeros up, get up, are populated, and you go again, show empty rows if there's any that have got 000 for all the years. Luckily, we have everything for at least one for each and every those years. So that's basically how you use some of the logical functions. And since we are here, you can also do something. All right, you can go on. Let me see if I can get to that. All right, you can add these boundaries so that your those you see it's now getting more visible. Yeah, those boxes that belong to Armenia, the zeros now becoming more visible by just editing, formatting it, and editing it. All right, let's see if there's any other that is that might be important on logical. Then we did when we did then we did it uh, when we did it also when we're doing the case statement with the parameters. So I've covered the most of them. Min and max also did it when we did the aggregations. So let's move on to the other section of the course. Hello again, welcome back. So in this section, we're going to do type conversions, aggregate functions, special functions, and user functions. So we're going to quickly run through these ones because they are super easy. So let's do the aggregate functions. We have explained it earlier, so I won't really elaborate much on that one. So if I have got segment and let's say cells, automatically Tableau sums it up. And if I go right down here, there is other major aggregates: sum, average, median, count, count distinct, and standard deviation and variance. And you can still also do access them AVG cells on a calculated field. So you can say cells, actually average cells, we need average cells. Average cells, perfect. Then you can drop it right here and you can see that the average sales, I can take this one out. The average sales for consumer is this, this, and this. All right, those are the aggregate functions, nothing much. Let's go ahead and do the user functions. These ones, I don't have anything to show you because I am using Tableau Public, but we use this full name, is member of, is username, is domain, is name. If we want to handle permissions, let's say suppose we don't want a certain person to view certain type of data on the dashboard, we can configure that using these functions. So we can check if someone is a member of a certain AD group. Then if they are a member of a certain AD group, they can see this. If they are members of another one, they can see that. So we use these ones to do permissions. And there's not really a better way to showcase that using a Tableau Public. Create calculator field. Let's do type conversions. Then we do special functions. All right, so these icons behind each and every dimension and measure, they refer to what the data is. For example, quantity is a is an integer right now. So let's say I have customer name, which is a string, and I do want to concatenate customer name and quantity. Let's say I just want to do it that way. So customer and quantity. So if I do customer name plus quantity, it will give me an error. Why? Because cannot add string and integer value. But if I convert this one to a string and maybe add a space here, now I am able to concatenate, to combine the two. Apply, apply. When I do this, then we can see that Aaron Beckman had one quantity for this particular, you can take it out like this. You can sum them up a little bit better. But it was an integer. We converted it into a string, and now we can make some manipulations on a string. And we can also change dates if we want to make it a string. It's all up to you. But that's basically the idea when you're doing type conversions. And let me see, create calculator field, type conventions. So we did a string. We can do an integer again. Make point, all these other ones. Intersects, make date time, make line, make point, make time. I will look at them when I'm doing special files. But let's look at integer, float, date time, and date. So right now, where is date? Right now, order date is a date, ship date is a date, and I can convert these ones. I can say date time, order date. I'm convert. It's a date already. You can see. I can say order date 2 so that you can see it side by side. So order date 2, apply. Okay, you see the icon changes with the time on the end because this is a date. I've changed it to a date time. And you can do the same to an integer. Let's do integer date, int order date. Is that order date is converted into an integer. And this, of course, will get a sum of all the dates, but that's a topic on its own. So that's the type conversions. Let's see. Float is any number with a decimal. So for example, let's say we have customer name, we have quantity. What is quantity? All right. So these are numbers with no comma. But if I do something like this, float quantity, I want to float it out. Quantity, then replace it here. Then we can have that point zero, point zero, point zero, point zero, point zero. Depending on the degree of accuracy that you want, you can use this. All right. And also, while it's here, we can do formatting. And on here, we can change to a number standard, number custom. We can have all those commas if we want to. And we can do currency, make it a currency. We actually formatting is a topic on its own. We'll do the formatting when we do the actual dashboard together, but you can see that you can actually manipulate and format this differently. All right, that's that for type conventions. Let's look at my favorite topic, special functions. All right, we are looking at special functions, special calculations. These are calculations that we use when we are manipulating geographical data. So let's say go right here and go on special. So we have area, buffer, difference, distance, and met point, share type, validate. Let's look at met point. Now, to understand this one, you need two things. You need a latitude and a longitude. So I am going to go on Google Maps and find two areas. So this is my Google Maps. I am going to do Statue of Liberty. Then right here, I'll zoom in, then right click and copy this one. Just click it, copy to clipboard. So when I come here, Statue of Liberty, this is a latitude. So I got these two numbers. So the first one is the latitude. I'm going to apply it. Then I'm going to duplicate it and edit the second one. This will be the longitude. And I'm going to do this. Perfect. Right, now I have those X and Y coordinates. To make a point is now very easy. So Statue of Liberty, make point. So we're going to use the make point calculation. Then we do Statue of Liberty latitude, then comma, Statue of Liberty longitude. That's all we need to do. Apply. It's already a geographical field, so you just double click it and it's gonna find on the map where the Statue of Liberty is. So this is exactly where it is. And we're gonna do the same again for the White House. White House. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one that we want. So I'm going to zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, take the coordinates and create two calculations. So White House latitude, duplicate it and edit the second one. So this will be White House longitudes. And we're going to make a point, the third calculation, White House make point. So we're going to do make point function, White House latitude, White House longitude. Then we can double click it and it will show where the White House is. Right here, DC, that's where the mark for White House. Now we have got 2 points. We have 2 points, the White House and the Statue of Liberty. All right. So what we want to do now is to check to do this other. We are looking at special. We want to make a line. Actually, before I do that, let me do buffer. White House buffer. So I'm using buffer function. Then White House. Yeah, White House make point. Is that what I need? Okay, perfect. So I need to create 6, let's say in kilometers. I want to make a buffer on the White House area, which is this one. I want 6 kilometers in all directions. So White House buffer, apply, apply. And when I take these ones out and do White House buffer, it's going to apply 6 kilometers from on all directions from that particular point that I have highlighted. So that's buffer for you. Let's look, I think, the last one, which is neckline. Neckline just shows lines between two positions. I'm going to show you that. Then length shows you the length between two positions. So we are going to do neckline. Then for neckline, we just need two positions. We need Statue of Liberty. Actually, we need to wrap this one in neckline, not make time, neckline. Neckline, Statue of Liberty, make point, and White House. Perfect. Then we'll wrap it up. Make line from Statue of Liberty to White House. Apply, apply. Take this one out and double click here. So it will make a line, straight line from Statue of Liberty to the White House. All right, that's that on special files. I hope you find this very informative. And what I'm going to do is I am going to publish this workbook in Tableau. I can actually do it right now as is. Then you'll be able to, if I do, will it allow me? It might not because I'm using a shared yeah, it won't allow me. But I'll do a quick introduction to Tableau Public so that you can know where to find other dashboards out there. So I'm going to open on a separate window and I'm going to show you this Tableau Public. Opening. All right, Tableau Public. So this is the Tableau Public prof that you might need to create. I already have a profile, so it's all about logging in, signing to Tableau Public, and signing in here one more time. Then you have access to other people's dashboards, and you can create your own. I have done a lot of dashboards here. So my profile, you can see all the dashboards that I've done over the time. I'm going, after I publish, I'm going to share the link to my Tableau Public if you want to reference more. All right, let's move on to the next section of the course. Congratulations, you have made it to the end of the tutorial. Now, up until now, you have learned Tableau in bits and pieces, mastering each and every technique and concept throughout the way. But now you have the opportunity to put everything you have learned into practice by building your very own comprehensive Tableau dashboard. This project will serve as a fantastic addition to your portfolio and give you confidence to apply your skills in real world scenarios. So, in this project, I'm going to cover the entire process from start to finish, starting from data cleaning, make sure that our data is ready for visualization, and also all the way to publishing to Tableau Public. So sit back, relax. We're going to come up with a project with a dashboard like this that you're seeing on the screen, whereby we are able to put pictures, information icon, the titles, the dates, the filters, and you can filter by calendar year or college year. Then you can also filter by the college names depending on what you have. We are going to build all these charts together, and also we are going to come up with KPIs, bar charts, and maps, and also a Sankey chart. Sit back, relax. Let's go ahead to Tableau Public together and see what we can get. All right, so I'm going to go to Tableau Public. Let's go together to Tableau Public. And if you don't have your profile yet, it's time for you to have your profile. So we're gonna go to sign in. Then we go to Tableau Public. Then you're gonna sign in with your credentials. So I'm gonna sign in with my credentials on a different screen. Then I'll push it back here. Perfect. Now I'm in Tableau Public, and if you see right here, there's this create, then there's this learn, and there's this sample data. And I want you to look at this data set. You will use, if you want, you can use all these data sets to build your visualization. And if you keep on scrolling, there is this data set, University Advancement, Donations, and Giving. A table of donations made to universities in the United States. The donation amounts, location in this data set are fictitious, intended for training purposes only. So I want you to go ahead and click this link to the Excel file. It's going to download, and now we're gonna go to the file where it is and look at it. I have it already opened, so this is the file, and this is how it looks. We have allocation category, we have city, we have college, we have gift allocation, amount, date, major, prospect ID, and state. So we're gonna go ahead and connect this to our Tableau Public software. There you go. So it's an Excel file, so I'm gonna click Excel. Then I'm going to click that file, and boom, it's connected to Tableau. And I'm going to drag gift records to the canvas, and I have those columns that I've shown you earlier. Perfect. All right. Now we are in and we start our visualization. So first of all, if you go on data source, you can see all the columns that are in there, or you can come right here and see all the columns. So we have again category, city, college, gift allocation, gift amount, gift date, major, prospect ID, and state. Perfect. And we know gift amount is the dollar value. So we would want to change it to number format and go to currency custom, so that we can always, whenever we play around with it, it will be always a dollar amount, a dollar sign on it. Perfect. So first of all, what we want to do is to look at our KPIs. But before we even get there, so we know colleges, they have a different setup. Most colleges, they start their year start at the mid year. So we would want to take care of that. We want to report to cover the calendar year and also the college year. So we're gonna make now we're gonna make a parameter. Then we're gonna call it a year type, And from here, we are able now to make it a string, a list. Then we want our calendar year. Then we want our college year, or maybe fiscal year, depending on how you want to say it out. I will keep it on college year. So we have our parameter. Remember our rules. Create a parameter, show your parameter, and use it in some way in the view or in a calculated field. So we're going to use it in a calculated field. Then, so we're going to do year type control and use our case statement that we have learned in earlier. So case year type, which is our parameter, when we select calendar year, we want it to return gift date. When we select college year, we want, now here's a calculation when we did date calculations. We want it to be a month. We want to add 6 months on gift date. If you don't understand this calculation, go back to the date calculations, gift date. Let me do it this way. Gift date. Why is it not showing? Oh, that's why. Gift date. Perfect. Then we end this. Perfect. Yet tab control. All right. So now if I replace this one with this one, now my data set covers 2010 to 2015 and it's on calendar year. If I switch to college year, it's going to add 6 months, so it will cover from 2010 to 2016. So this filter is working perfectly and we can start to build our visualization. And another thing about parameters, they are available on every worksheet that we're going to build. Another thing that I want to point out before we start building is you can see everything is written. If I drag college to the rows, everything is written college of agriculture, college of, college of, college of. So when I start to build my visualization, for example, if I do this, now the college are not that visible because there's this repeated college of, college of. So I might want to change that. So let's use, I'm going to do this formula. I want to replace the college of with nothing so that we can start with arts, agriculture. Alrighty. So I'm going to come here. Then I'll say college names. And I'm going to replace college. On college field, replace this part with blank. Apply. So now, when I do this and do college names, now I can have agriculture, arts, business. So it kind of reduces the noise in your dashboard. You don't want to have repeated words. All right, so we have this. This is taken care of. Okay, let's start to build our visualization. For KPIs, let's start with KPIs. I will say rename this one to total dollars that have been raised. So I'm going to drag it and push it right here. So now we need to change it to a text so that we can have the total gift amount. Perfect. And we want to have another one, total donors. Then I'll right click and drag it. Then I'll do count distinct prospect ID. We don't want to double count them and we can change it to text. Alrighty, this is a number, so this is looking good. We also want to see total states. We want to see the states that are involved in this. And we can drag state, right click, drag state, and do another count distinct on state. And we can drag it on text right here. Then we can have 40 states. It's easy as that. All right. So that's that. We'll format later. Let's move on to do the average donation. Or actually, we want to do total donations over the years. So donation year over year. So we have our parameter, drop it right here. And we have our sum of gift amounts, and we want it to be a bar chart. So I will drop it on rows and change this one to a bar chart, or come right here and then switch like this. All right, so these are our total donations, and we're going to show our parameter, and we can toggle back and forth. Now, yeah, it's working as supposed. So this is that, and you can maybe make it a little bit nicer, change color. You can use any color that you want. I like this color, and I can change the opacity to this to 50%. You can actually type it here. You can literally do whatever you want. Let me go with, let me see. I'll go with this color, kind of a gray color. All right, so let's go ahead and do distinct donors year over year. Again, we're going to use our parameter. We are going to do count distinct on prospect ID. So this kind of looks, if you want a line chart, it's up to you. You might use I'll keep it a line chart now. Then I'll do, let me see if I can quickly do a reference line. Perfect. I'm gonna click a reference line and click edit. And I want it to do custom. Then I'll do type AVG is equals to, click the arrow, go on value. Then I also want to see, let me see if I can, yeah. Click right here one more time, then format. And right here, I want to do number custom. Then I'll remove the decimal places. So I put 542. Perfect. And on color, I want to change the color. Maybe I'll do something brighter. And also on label, I'm going to click show labels. So this is the average level donors per year. And this is how they were trading over the years. And let's hide show header, and also our parameter. We need to use our parameter. So I'm going to show parameter. Let's see. Yeah, it's working as expected. All right. Let's go ahead and double click state, take gift amount, put it on color, gift amount, put it on label, and right click prospect ID, put it on label, and select count distinct. Perfect. So this is showing, actually we can also add state so that it can be easy to know that this is Illinois, and there's the total gift amount given, and the number of donors in that state. Go on color, edit colors. You can put any color that you want. I like this one. And I can go back on color, and on opacity, I can put it on 50% so that it won't be too bright. So country summary, or state by state summary. So the colors, it's all up to you. You can choose the color that you want. And let's do what we call a Sankey chart. But while we're here, let's do this show parameter, and let's take this one and put it on detail. Perfect. It's changing as expected. The darker the color shows that we have more money that has been donated from those areas. All right. So if you're using Tableau public, we want to go on the new sheet, and we do gifts distribution. And before we actually do that, we want to make a Sankey chart. So we need to do a calculation, which we'll call gifts category. And what we're going to do is to split the gifts category into three. So gifts category, we simply using an if statement here to categorize our gifts. So if you look right here, where's this year over here? We have donations that are higher and lower. We kind of want to say if someone donated over 200, then we call them transformational gifts, cornerstone gifts, sustaining gifts, supporting gifts. So apply. So that's one. So right on the new, we're gonna click automatic, add extension. So we want Sangi chart by Tableau. So just gonna click it and open it. Perfect. Now we have the Sangi chart, and you can see now this has changed. So I'm going to take the gift category, put it on level. I'm going to take year type control, put it on level again. And I'm going to take the college names that we've done, put it on level. Perfect. So you can see how easy it is. With 3 clicks, we're able to visualize something like this, and try to do this in Python, in R, and any other software out there. You will take ages. But look, we can see that two of our transformational gifts, they came in year 2024, 2014, and 2015. And we can, excuse me, you can filter to see that this transformational gift went to natural science, this one went to engineering. And we can also see that most of our gifts are sustaining gifts, and they are kind of fairly distributed throughout the years, and they go literally to every college name that we have here. Same thing with supporting gifts. Gifts that are less than 10,000, they all came throughout the years, and they are kind of equally distributed across all the years. Imagine how easy it is to visualize something like this in a few clicks. So we're going to rename this one and call it gifts distribution. Gifts Sankey. Perfect. All right. So this is good. I think for our project, we have literally built everything that we need. The rest is formatting. But whilst we're here, I want also to look at something else. So let's say top donors. All right. In this chart, what we want to do is to look at prospect IDs, all of them, and their gift amounts. So we're going to look at who is giving the most. So we're going to take this one and take again prospect ID, drop it on filters. And want to see the top 10 by the gift amount. So by field, top 10 by some gift amount. I'm going to apply this one. Perfect. So it's going to show us top 10 donors, and this is how much they've given us. All righty. And if you want, we can showcase it as a chart like this one. And we can put a gift amount. Also change the color, the opacity, and also change the sizing of this chart. I like it thinner, but you can have it the way you want it. So you can also hide labels here. We don't really need it. All right, so those are the top 10 by gift amount across the entire data set. We also want to do an information icon. So info icon. So I'm going to come here and change this one to a shape. And for this, I would just want to drag something on detail. And when I click shape now, I can go on more shapes, default, and I go on KPIs. And I want to use this one. apply. So you can see the mark changes to this one, and I can change this to entire view. And on click tooltip, delete everything and say this dashboard covers a 5-year period available. Perfect. You can write it the way any way you want. So we're gonna use this information icon later. I also want another sheet which I want to call debt, and I would want my users to know which date the data is valid on. So I'm going to call it today, and that's it on this one. Apply, okay. Drag today on text and right click, drop down, more, custom, and month. Perfect. I'm just going to drag it so that it it looks like that. Then that's date. Let me see if we can add one more. Let's create a city, rename, city distribution, city, yeah, I'll just call it city. And then I've got city here, so I'm going to drag it on rows. We want to know the sum of gift amount and also the distinct prospect IDs for each and every city. And what we're going to do is I can take this one and put it on tooltip and maybe create a bar chart like this. Then highest to lowest, then show labels. Perfect. Then I can click on city, right click on city, and just take it out like that. Also right click here and uncheck show header. Perfect. I can also maybe use a different color. Maybe this one, this time around. Any color. In a real world, they'll come and will give you the color codes that you need to use, something that is consistent with your company. Company logo, company labels, and everything. All right, so let's create another one. Unique prospects. Create a calculated field. So we're going to use an LLD. So it will be, we want to count the unique prospect by each and every college name. So unique prospect by college. So when I see how many unique prospects I did every college. So we're gonna do college names right here. Maybe where's that unique? And we can also do year type control, and we can see that we have 355 unique ones. Or rather, I'll take this one out, and I can make this chart. Perfect. And we can look at the average reference line. Then it's going to tell me the average, and I'll do custom one more time. Then AVG for average. AVG is equals to right click value, and you can format one more time to have it number custom, number without this is not a dollar amount, so we're going to take that one out. We're going to do number custom, then we remove the yes. Perfect. Toggle on the titles, the labels, and I'm going to change the color to something like this, and also change the opacity to 50, and go back to my parameter, show parameter. Alrighty, you can drag if you want to. All right, right. So that's the beauty of Tableau. You can you can um, you can play around and see how it looks like. If it's something that you like, you can play around with it and see if it is something that you like. All right. So I've shown you a fixed LOD. I've shown you some of these calculations. Now let's go ahead and build our dashboard. So we're gonna click this dashboard, rename our dashboard to say giving summary, something like this. And on sizing, you choose the size that you want. I want a fixed size of 1200 and 900 here. Perfect. And now I want to drag this horizontal container. I'm tiled is checked, so I'm going to drag the horizontal container, drop it right here. And I'm going to drag an image, drop it right here. And I'm going to choose an image, and I'm going to find an image in my library and feed the image, apply, and okay. So I have that image, and I'm going to drag text, drag it to the right, then United States of America, giving summary. Center it, and I'm going to take that parameter so that it will notify the people by college year, by calendar year. Then I'm going to check the date, drag it to the right. Perfect. Now I have this. Let me reduce the size so that it can be visible a little bit. Perfect. So now I have this dashboard, and if I go right here on another, I can do a horizontal container like this, drop it here. So I'm gonna just go back to my sizing on 900. All right, I have this container, and I want to put okay, the dollars, the donors under it, and the states under it. So I've got those three sheets. I'm gonna double click them, right click, down, click that arrow, distribute contents evenly. And if you double click, you select the entire container. If you click inside, you select that particular sheet. I want to do fit entire view. Same thing with this one, fit entire view, fit entire view. Perfect. And I'm going to right click, format. And on pane, I want to change maybe to 14 and bold it, and do the same for that one. 14 bold, and also this section I'm going to do center. Perfect. So let me do it again for this one. Center, same thing. I'm going to center this one and go on the A, pane, 14, and bold. Perfect. All right, so our dashboard is shaping up. Let's do, so I double click the container, go on layout, border, click the border. So now we have a border for this. And if I want to do a border for this $12 sheet, I can just do a border, border, border. Perfect. And I can right click on total dollars and format title. And I'm going to put a shading, any color that I want. Let me just do this. I like this one, number 3. Same thing for this one, number 3, so that my titles can be a little bit more visible. Perfect. It's coming up the way I want it. So I just drag it up. And now I need another one, another vertical container to the right. And I want to put the dollars donation year over year. So this one, and also I think I have donors right here. I'll put underneath this. So let me do it this way. I'll put it underneath. You can see it's graying out. And again, double click, layout, border. Click inside, border, click inside, border. And I am going to drag another container and put it to the right. And I'm going to put the map in there. And I'm going to do perfect. So now it's all about resizing, make sure it's looking nice. And while it is on there, I'm going to drag another container, put on the bottom part of the right here. Perfect. Then my Sankey, I'm going to drop it in there. Then our dashboard is taking shape. So I'm going for now, I'm going to click the drop down, add and show a button, and also I'm going to hide it just like that. Now it's all about sizing, make sure it's appearing the way I want it. I want to format the title again, put a shading on it so that it kind of gives a visual cue like this is a different chart. Some people don't do it, some I like it, but it's all up to your design skills. And you can actually go on format in the entire workbook, and you can change the size of your worksheet titles maybe to 12. You can bold them up. All the titles are changing, and you can change the font here. You can do Tableau bold or any font that your company is using. Tableau book, Tableau light, whatever it is, perfect. So I don't want the title, so I'm going to hide the title, and I'm going to click the drop down and fit entire view. Drag it the way I want it, something like this. Increase the size maybe to 15. Maybe I want to bold it a little bit. Control A, bold. It's looking good. Now I don't need all these headers, so I'm going to take off the header. I'm resizing. So here, it all depends on how you want to size all this, to format all this. Your command might give you general guidelines, but we always say key information on the top left and any other subsequent information to the right. So this is taking shape, and let's see. Now it's all about making sure that our filters are working. So I'm going to select a sheet, click this icon, this funnel, same thing, click this funnel, go on this one, click this funnel, go on this one, click this funnel. So what I'm doing here is, let's say if I click Texas, all those other filters are going to be filtered by Texas. And if I do California, all those will be filtered by California. So if I click one more time on California, it brings the entire thing back together. And it's looking good. Now the rest will be checking to make sure that your filters are working the way you have set them up. All right, I can take this one out, then go to the sheet. So if you see, I clicked on this go to sheet, and now I want to make sure that I have all the filters. So I need college names, apply all, apply, drop down, apply to all using this dataset, gift category, all using this dataset. I want also major or using this data set. If I want, I can add this one too. So when we say all using this If I leave it like this, it will be applied to this worksheet only, but we want the users to filter the entire worksheet. So all using this data source. And you can add filters, as many filters as you want. Perfect. You can also add gift amount and all values. It will give you a slider where you can toggle back and forth. So apply, then I can do all using this apply or using this data source. Perfect. So when I go to the dashboard, I have all I need to do is to come here, go, I have the parameter all already. So I'm going to go on filters. I'm just going to add this one, select the filter, multiple drop down, same thing. I'm going to do filters, college names, and I'll do multiple values drop down so that it can drop down like this to save space. Filters, gift amount, filters. So the rest is just testing to make sure that everything is working as anticipated. So add all the filters, measure, and double click the filters icon. It pops out the entire container. I'll put a border. I'll put a background like this. Perfect. And I can do distribute contents evenly. And I can also set it on floating. Then I can click it, click click shift and see if I can squeeze it in here. Yeah, this that perfect right here. Something like this. And our dashboard is taking shape. The rest honestly will be just to change maybe bold and things up, just depending on your design capabilities. But the rest will be just on you to check if it's working. For example, there are other sheets that I didn't apply or that parameter. So if I change right here, it will change a couple of sheets. It will not change everything. Yeah, I think it's working. Let's see right here. Yeah, if I do this, I can select, and let's say your users want to see honors program and diversity fund. They can specifically look at those. I see this here, tab control, we don't need it, so I'm gonna hide it, so that my dashboard becomes a little bit cleaner. And another thing that you would want to do after you tested everything is to check on the tooltip. You see this rectangle that is coming up when I move over. Make sure what is so. If you do year of year tab control 2015, they don't understand it. You can simply, your users may not understand it, so you can simply change it to, you go to the sheet and do this and just do year, just like that, so that whenever they move over, they can just see here. So that's a little bit of cleaning that you might need to do, but the rest, your dashboard will be looking great, and make sure that everything is perfect. So this is the dashboard, and now I'm using Tableau Public, and if I go right here on Server, let me see, save to Tableau Public. Actually, before I do that, I can right click, hide all sheets. Oh, there's one thing that I needed to do. Let me see if I have everything here. Perfect. So I wanted to add, if I go right here on this map, there's this city that I did. So if I go on tooltip, and on the bottom part, I right click it and I can do something like this and do enter and insert. I can insert a field or a sheet. So I want the city and okay. So now when I go to California and move over, I can see Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco now popping up because I'm showing the city in it. I'm showing this in a tooltip on this. So you can see they can look and check the actual cities, and you can do a lot of things Like you can create an action so that when the user click Texas, they can go on Wikipedia or Carbon website where they can look at Texas in detail. There are many other things that you can do, but for your project, this is nice and done. So I'm going to go File, Save to Tableau Public, and it will ask me to enter to sign in, and let me do, oh, I forgot the information icon. Information icon, I'm going to select float, information icon, drop it here, hide the title and resize it. Again, hide title, resize it, something like this. Or you can put it right here so that when the user want to see what is this dashboard all about, they can look at this. Perfect. What else? So I'm gonna hide all sheets and gifts distribution. We didn't use this one, so this one can go. Top donors, we end up not using it. So hide all sheets. City we used, so we can hide this one. Actually, I can hide everything. Let's see, unique prospects. Yeah, if you want to edit, you can add these unique prospects. Make sure it's on tiled so that you can add on a specific container easily. So it depends on how you want your dashboard to look like, but I've shown you how to go through the process. Undo. So I'm going to format the title, put that shading one more time, remove the college names so that don't appear, and I want the numbers to show right here. So I'm going to go to the sheet and label, and you might need to clean up the tooltip when I've shown you already, and maybe something like this. Change the space a little bit, make it a little bit nicer, more visible. So that's the process. And now let's go ahead and see if we can publish. Save to Tableau Public. Save to Tableau Public. Then giving summary. Save. It's publishing. And it will go to your saved Tableau Public. So it's opened and I'm going to share with you. So in a real world, once you publish to your command server or Tableau Cloud, you need to test everything to make sure that it's working as expected uh, before you share with the business, because you just want everything to be perfect before someone looks at it. Actually, you verify these numbers. If you are connected to a database, you verify with these numbers. So this is my published to Tableau Public, and now everyone can see. And I can take this one, copy this one. I'll add the link to the description of the video and share with everyone else in the company. Thank you for watching, and that's it. Bye for now.